Good morning, everybody. This is Grant Larson. It is it's Thursday, June 1st. We have overnight session that has continued to rise on us, especially just in the last few minutes. Okay, it's about 8:07 Chicago time at the moment. Hey, I wanted to recap yesterday, what yesterday looked like. So I got the two charts up. On the left-hand side, I have the market effectiveness chart. And on the right-hand side, I have the 1-minute chart. I've got also on the 1-minute chart, I have the market engine indicator. And then on the bottom left over here, I've got the correlation, which tells us when gear shifts occur and the market is looking to make some moves. Okay, so let's talk through yesterday. You could tell from the beginning that it started up super high with a lot of promise, but as I had mentioned yesterday before the open, it had risen and it was a kind of day that it looked like it might push up a little bit and then drop, and that's exactly what it did. So every once in a while you get to call it right, so that was my turn. So yeah, we called it right, and the market effectiveness dropped very quickly. In fact, we got a gear shift right at the beginning. You could tell it was trying to push up, it failed at that, and then just dropped off dramatically. All the way down till about 9:05 a.m. Then we got another gear shift right here on the left. Another gear shift, and when you look over to the right, you can see that it was preparing to push back up. I wasn't as comfortable taking that trade because for me it was such a bearish effectiveness day that I did not take the trade to the upside, rather waited for it to rise, and it rose. It was not a higher probability for me, but these two gear shifts right here, definitely traded these as I prepared for the break to the downside, and it did. So that was higher probability. Pushed up again, and then as it comes here into the 11 a.m. Chicago time frame, nice little market move here as the gear shift pushes it up again, but here I waited for the gear shift for me to trade the break, taking it down. All right, now this I wanted to talk about this section right here. Let me expand this part right here so it's a little easier to see. I'm going to expand this right here. These are unique impulse moments when you see this sort of now here's the setup. The setup is it's bearish in terms of market effectiveness. Things are moving down, and it does this sort of fast blast way up like this. Those are great opportunities where you get this confirmation over on the right hand side with the market engine. Market engine pushes way above the orange line here, so it's super fast rate of movement. Comes up and basically says, hey, I'm going too far, too fast, in too short a time frame. So it blasts way up here on the 1-minute chart, comes way up on the other side of the 89 EMA. It's sort of sitting alone all by itself. That actually is a very strong bearish opportunity. So when it over pushes at something like this, this is about 12:15, 12:10 Chicago time. Yes, great opportunity. When you see it come up all by itself like that, get on the other side of these moving averages, then it's gone too far too fast, and there's a nice strong trade opportunity back to the downside. Coming over to here, we're no other really strong gear shifts except for right here. Started to get one about 1:30 Chicago. I waited for that one to rise and then took the break back down to the downside. I was trading them to the downside. And then had another decent shift right about here. Now the market makes a big correction. So if you look over here on the right hand side on the market engine, we had a nice divergence indication. So here the divergence is simply that price came down here to about 2406.5, and the engine indicator went well below the first volatility line. But then we came down to 2406.25, but here it didn't quite, the engine indicator didn't go quite as far down. Great, great signal or sign for things to shift and go the other direction. In fact, had a similar kind of divergence, had two key divergences earlier in the day, another at about 1:15 Chicago time. There was about 3-step divergence indication right there, and then the market pushed up. Well, did a similar thing. So we didn't get a strong gear shift. Got a little bit, but it gave us a pretty decent. So if I can get a divergence with a strong shift in the gears, then that's even more confident. Over here, then at what is that? About 2:10 p.m. So it was just purely a divergence shift. And then finally, with the direction established, now we get a gear shift right here. Now the direction's been established, so now it's to the upside. And so you can see the tonality of the market engine indicator is to the upside. It's above the zero line. It's been up there for a while. We see the market effectiveness drop off. So it was trying to pull it back the other direction, but turns out that because it was trying to pull back, that was in fact not in line with where the price and the pressures of the internals were going. So the trade was then to the upside, which was contrary to the rest of the day. But the last 45 minutes of the day, things definitely pushed up. So you got a couple of gear shifts there right at the end of the day that took the trades to the upside. Okay, so let's talk about today. Today is interesting in terms of news. Lots of news throughout the day. Things to be careful about. So if we come over to here, I use Forex Factory. There's already been some announcements. We had the ADP non-farm report at 5:15 and unemployment at 5:30. Well, that's my time, Chicago time, 7:15, 7:30. And that brought some volatility into the market. Typically on these kinds of days where there's this amount of news, it can create some nice volatility for trading opportunities. So keep your eyes open for those. We still have 3 more coming. And so it could be a certain amount of uncertainty here as we got a 9 a.m. ISM manufacturing report, so 30 minutes after the open. And then an hour and a half after the open, crude oil inventories. And then 12 p.m. or 2 p.m. Chicago time, President Trump will speak. So a bit of volatility going to be introduced into the market. So be prepared for that. Keep those times close to you. I hate trading right on those times. Rather sit and wait for a little bit to see how things settle out. All right, so overnight it's come up and continue to push further north. We just hit the high of the overnight a few minutes ago. Looks like going to be a strong trading opportunity for us today. Hopefully that news brings in volatility, which is what we want. So use your effectiveness chart. Keep your eyes on it. It'll help you understand the tone and give you bias, help you determine what bias you should be looking for. And then look for the breaks towards that bias. That increases our probability and being safe. And that's it for now. Have a great trading day. I'll check back in with you later. Bye.